The common question I get about revenue-based financing, providing bank statements, the majority of the time that's it with a few more pieces. Is it only daily or weekly repayments? Are there other funding options available? And so about 98.99% of the time, actually more than that, usually it is daily and weekly. Just imagine yourself taking a monthly repayment with a private investor, private lender, private sector, and you have one huge lump sum at the end of the month. On top of that, you have other debt obligations, rent, there's mortgage, there's payroll, overhead expenses, other things you need to do with your vendors, suppliers, whatever you're paying, business credit cards, personal credit cards, the list can go on and on. You have other loans, etc. And even if you didn't have any, just imagine you were given a payment of at least $5,000 at the end of the month to make. Can you do that with your other debt obligations, whether you do or don't? Even if you don't have that and you're cash flowing heavily or enough, your revenue is high enough, you still have to establish that relationship with the lender. And they're not just going to give you a monthly repayment. It hurt you more than it does any good. And so having more micromanageable bi-weekly and or daily, and you have to start with one or the other depending on the underwriting. Why would we give somebody who has lower revenue, lower credit, even lower time in business, a weekly repayment? If they already show inconsistency in their depositing frequency, let's say you're in a business where you only deposit bi-weekly or at the end of the month and you only deposit 1 or 2 times, that does not look good to a lender. They want to see a minimum of 3 times per month, 3 to 5, even higher depending on that lender you go to, and it's what's best for you. So consistent daily deposits, it's better. If you do it every other day, okay. However, you're depositing at the end of the week, and you have to think about the people who are looking at it as undesirable are generally not depositing as frequent. Maybe they don't have that pattern recognition yet of if they put $1 in here, they get $2 out, or $1 in, $3 out, or whatever they need for equipment or other purposes. So it's very important for you to understand your business's structure, your processes, the systems, the automation, if anything, and see like where you're budgeting and where you're making money. Where's your return on investment activity wise as well as financially? And if I were to get money because I needed more money to grow and expand that part, what would that look like on my ROI in about a week, in about a month, 6 months down the road, etc. So the majority of the time it is daily or weekly. Bi-weekly, monthly doesn't really exist because a lot of people will end up going into default. It's very rare. And it's harder to get approved for unless you're cash flowing really heavily, your credit, your time in business, the industry specific, the depositing frequency minimum, non-sufficient funds, negative days, average daily bank balances are very strong. But even then, it's hard to get approved for one, and you have to start somewhere, and you may then eventually be able to build into that over time. Possibly, not always, depends on the service. And the services that offer these types of monthly repayments are like personal/startup loans between 1 to 5 years. You have other personal credit, even business credit programs that can offer that. Installment loans with personal loans/term loans on that side of the equation. You have equipment financing/leasing, leasing to own. Those situations where you're going to an equipment lender, we can do 1 to 5 up to 6 years on some cases, not always. You have SBA 7A/504 loans and a few of the SBA loans out there, but do you even qualify? And do you want to go through all that? You have a business line of credit, but even in this market, it's hard to get approved for a monthly. Usually people start off with a weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, but weekly a lot of the time is what you see, and you got to build your way up, even an increase, and work your way like the business credit cards, the personal credit cards. And there might be a few more things in there you can get monthly, but for the most common ones, those are it. Now, I can go on a little bit deeper into each one of these parts and components, but just to recap, understand that getting a monthly repayment can do more harm than good, especially if you're already falling behind on other payments or they're just too high to give you another monthly repayment. And we've learned our lessons, and people ending up going into a default. They end up going into default with past default judgment in place. They don't take care of that. There's a lawsuit in place, or there's a court order. They didn't meet the court order agreements. Then they're trying to figure out why they are in the position they are in. And even if you're not falling behind on payments, you need to get your 2 feet in the door instead of not committing, and start somewhere, build the relationship up, and be able to get funding time and time again. And when you're eligible, in 45 days, sometimes we can have add-on funds, a good amount if you needed it. And about 50% of the balance being paid off, we can look at a renewal situation, perhaps doubling more so. We got to look at the bank statements again and where you are on your payments and all that. But again, I can go into this even deeper. And I had said this message to quite a few people not too long ago, and I continue to do so about day in and day out. And again, it just comes back to depositing frequency, what type of payments, what type of industry you are in. There are ups and downs, and you're either negative in cash flow or feel like you will be. And I was just reading a little bit about past clients, and I just didn't want to miss anything, but I pretty much said that already. So that's everything. Look down below in the description for more information. And the questionnaire, if you haven't submitted that, please go ahead and get that submitted and back to me so I can evaluate, analyze, and give you a proper response back via email on your best funding option and options and all resources. You can visit the bio and the description wherever you're watching this video from. I hope you got value from it. If you did and you're watching this potentially on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with others who you feel will find value out of it. It can be a complete friend. Is it a complete or a partial? It could be a complete stranger, a friend, or a family member. But you know you made a difference in their lives. They can go to bed at night or at least wake up in the morning, see this material and go, hey, there's that guy, Michael. I heard about him. And now they're getting the information they need. But you have to fix the diagnosis, not just mask the symptoms. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so and click that bell notification icon so you do not miss any future content I will be coming out with. That is everything for now, excuse me. Talk to you soon. Bye.